Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This is going to be a reading vlog and I'm going to be reading instead of doom scrolling. I'm just going to be reading as much as I can and not going on my phone. I have my Kindle here, which I actually just put some new stickers in. Doesn't it look cute? And then I also have this book that I got in one of my recent videos. This weekend doesn't end well for anyone. It's kind of like a murder mystery, I believe. So I'm also wanting to read this week. And I'm going to start off though with a KU book, and it's actually a novella. It is called One Hot Summer Wedding. This is part of the Summer Lovin' collection. I have not started this one yet. The first ones I read though I wasn't a huge fan of, so hopefully this one I do like a little better. I'm 50% of the way through One Hot Summer Wedding, and we have Lucy as our FMC, and she gets an invitation from one of her friends named Sarah to her wedding in Costa Rica at this lovely resort. And it starts off when she's getting from the airport and going to the resort, and she finds out that she's carpooling with Sarah's brother. His name is Beckett, and it's very awkward because at the start he doesn't even recognize her. Mind you, it has been 10 years since they last spoke to each other or even seen each other, which is the same with her friend Sarah too. So that's a little bit awkward, and she even recognizes that it's kind of weird that she's even attending this wedding in the first place. But she's super offended that Beckett did not recognize her. I don't blame her, I would be too. And when they get to the resort, Sarah tells them that they have to share a room. There is, however, 2 beds, so we don't have that like one bed trope at least. Sarah has planned a bunch of activities for the wedding party, which honestly seems like a lot of work, but Beckett and her are spending more time together, getting to know each other a little bit because again, they haven't seen each other for 10 years, so they're catching up and everything. And so far, I'm enjoying reading about them. I feel like it's going to be Beckett that kind of professes his love first and maybe says something like, oh, I've always loved you, or I've always wanted to be with you type thing. I like when a guy falls first and falls harder, so we'll just see. I just finished the novella and I'm giving this unfortunately 2 stars, and I think I'm going to be done with the Summer Lovin' collection because I read the first 3 books and I've given them all 2 stars. So maybe this collection is just not for me, which is totally fine. But my issue with this one was that, first of all, her best friend sucked so bad. Like, I would have been tempted to leave immediately if I were Lucy and found out what I found out. Number 2 was that I felt like our guy Beckett, he was just a little bit cheesy, and he said something at the end along the lines of, I just know who you are in your core or something. And I was like, how is that even believable? Because you haven't talked to her in a decade, haven't seen her in a decade, so it kind of just seems like he's just talking for no reason, just to win her over. And then thirdly, the wedding scene when Sarah finally got married, it was like counting down the whole time, and then the actual day happened so quickly, literally in like 2 pages, and then it was done. I wasn't a fan of this one, and now I'm going to start the book that I mentioned in the intro, and hopefully I have a good first impression update for you guys really soon. I got to chapter 6. Oh, this is page 60, and in this we have our FMC. Her name is Eleanor, and she is at a conference for murder mystery authors. She's here with her assistant and sister. Her name is Harper, and then also her co-writer and boyfriend. His name is Oliver. She's quite the successful author, so she's here to also speak. Weirdly enough, there are a bunch of people at this conference who she may not be on the best of terms with. Some ex-co-workers, some ex-friends, ex-boyfriends who may or may not be out to get her. And weirdly enough, on the very first day that she gets to the hotel, there is a dead body in her room, and she is like, what the heck, like, why am I always involved in these crazy things that happen? Because these kind of things have happened to her in the past, and although this incident is kind of brushed off, she knows that it is more serious than she's being led on to believe. Immediately with this book, the writing definitely caught my attention, and there's a lot of personality in it, which makes it really fun. There's footnotes too. I feel like Eleanor is very quirky in a good way though, and also with this writing, it's like Eleanor's talking to the reader the entire time, being like, oh, you should make a quick note of this, and oh, don't forget about this person's name, which I feel like I've read other books of romance specifically that I'm thinking of where I did not like that the character was speaking to the reader. But so far, despite what's happened, the tone of this is pretty unserious and lighthearted. So I feel like that's pretty interesting that the author is able to do that. Mind you, I don't read too many mysteries, so maybe it's common in mysteries. I feel like I'm more of a thriller girl. There's a few pop culture references, Taylor Swift, TikTok, things like that. So it's interesting, and so far I'm intrigued. I'm eager to continue with this. I think that's all I have time for today to read, but I felt like today was successful in terms of not going on my phone for the whole afternoon. I feel like I genuinely was reading my Kindle and then this. Day 1 success, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for day 2. Guys, it's been so long since I filmed for this video. Weirdly enough, I ended up getting pretty busy for the last week and a bit, but I'm continuing now with This Weekend Doesn't End Well for Anyone, and I'm going to update you guys soon. I'm just about like a little over a third of the way through, and honestly, I'm getting a little bit slumpy with it, unfortunately. I'm gonna try to power through. I really do not want to DNF this. Right now, it's just afternoon, and I have a few hours to kill and just read instead of going on my phone. I'm just at my parents' house for the weekend, but yesterday I was able to read a few hours, and I'm now on chapter 22. I'm almost done this book, which is pretty good because I'm honestly not really enjoying it that much. It is extremely dialogue heavy, which I feel like is fine, but I'm just not used to that kind of writing. There are other victims other than the very first one that was established at the start, so now they're trying to figure that out, and then everyone is just kind of like a little bit weird, a little bit of an enemy. I'm not really loving how the fourth wall is being broken this whole time. At first I feel like it was fine, but now it's a little bit annoying, and I'm finding that it's taking me out of the story. I was honestly close to DNFing this, but I didn't want to because I paid for the physical book and I just don't really like DNFing when I do that, so I have trudged through it. I'm almost done, maybe like a little bit more than 100 pages, so I will finish it up. But yeah, I'm not really having high hopes that I'll be rating this pretty highly, unfortunately. Okay, well, I did not like this. I looked on Goodreads and I noticed that it was labeled under cozy mystery. I almost said romance there. But maybe the cozy mysteries are just not for me, because I found this quite difficult for me to get through. It felt like the stakes were just so low, even though they technically weren't, because it was literally like a life or death situation. So that's kind of interesting. I did see that this is part of an interconnected standalone series, so maybe if I read the other 2 books I would be more invested. But I looked it up and it did say that they can be read as standalones, so I don't think that's necessarily the case, but who knows? There were honestly no likable characters in this. For example, Eleanor's sister, she was pretty awful and was weirdly involved with a few people from Eleanor's past. I felt like it was trying a little bit too hard to be twisty at the end, and it seemed like it was just overly convoluted for no real reason. Then when the final bad guy was finally revealed, I was kind of just like, okay, just so not invested. I didn't really care about the characters, I didn't really care about the plot, and I will say that the footnotes ended up getting very annoying, and I honestly stopped reading them after a little while. Not a great start to this video, because the last thing I rated was 2 stars as well, but this is also getting 2 stars. So hopefully what I read next will be a little bit better. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this book. Not too much, but I wouldn't recommend it. I've been working for the past several days, but now I have a day off and I'm going to be reading all day today. I finished that book at my parents' house, so I'm going to start something new on my Kindle, and I think I'm going to start the book called Waking Olivia by Elizabeth O'Rourke. And I've heard good things about this. I've had it saved on my Kindle for a little while now, so I'm just going to jump in and I'll give you guys my first impressions really soon. I'm 33% of the way through this book, and our FMC, of course, her name's Olivia, and she goes by Finn. Her last name's Finnegan. And this starts with her going to a new school to do what I thought was going to be soccer, but then I thought it was track and field, but it's actually cross country. So she's a runner, and I guess at her last school she got kicked out because she did something bad, which at the start wasn't described, but it was soon revealed that she took a bat to someone. And it was even surprising to her that she was able to get recruited onto another team at a different school. And she's at this new school. She's not really excited about it. She's not really there to make friends at all, which she definitely says from the get-go. And she comes across as very cold and not friendly or approachable at all. One of the coaches, his name is Will. He's only a few years older than her, which is good because initially when I thought about this book, I knew it was going to be a coach and student. I guess you wouldn't say student, I don't know. Whatever it is, I knew that the coach was going to be the main male character and the love interest. So I was hoping that it was not going to be a huge age gap romance because I'm not a huge fan of age gap romances. And it's interesting because Olivia is definitely very unlikable. There's so many times where I'm just like, can you just be nice? And can you not be so snippy and stubborn? But for whatever reason, I'm still rooting for her, and we get her POV so I can feel that underneath all of that kind of exterior anger and the show that she kind of puts on, I can see that she is very hurt and just troubled in general. And the thing with Will is that he also apparently had a troubled past, which we don't really get any information on yet, but his mom briefly talked about it. So I'm interested to see what exactly that is going to be. But something that Olivia does, which I'm assuming is because of her past trauma, is that she is a night runner, which is kind of like sleepwalking, but she runs. It is very distressing for her, but this is what Will is trying to help her with. I feel like I can definitely finish this book by tomorrow morning and get this video posted for you hopefully tomorrow as well. Hi, I'm DNFing this book because the MMC is bothering me so much. I didn't mention it before, but Will actually has a girlfriend currently. I thought that he was going to break up with her before anything got too intense or serious with him and Olivia, but that was not the case, and Will is incredibly cowardly. He knows he's not into his girlfriend. He knows that things are a little bit more serious than they're letting on, I guess, with Olivia and him, and he still just strings along his girlfriend, which really I don't like at all. And at this point, it doesn't even matter to me how much he likes and cares for Olivia and shows those acts of services. In one of the chapters that I just finished before DNFing this, the girlfriend does confront him and he completely gaslights her, says that, oh well, she just sleeps over at my mom's house while I'm also here because she's an athlete and she needs this help and whatever. And even at this point, he doesn't tell her the truth of his lack of interest in progressing the relationship because his girlfriend wants to get married and be with him and whatnot, and he just lies to her face, which is crazy. And why would I want him to be with a FMC? And I have a lot to say about the FMC too. She is definitely not innocent either, but yeah, I really just cannot stand Will now. He's so completely overbearing, and in one chapter, Olivia wants to go have dinner with her friend and her friend's parents, and he tells her that he would have to have her count every bite that she eats and then have the friend's parents come back and tell and like report to him that she was being honest with what she ate because she had a cross-country meet the next day, so he wanted to make sure that she was eating adequately, which that sentiment alone is okay, like wanting someone to be healthy, but just the way that he went about expressing this, he even does this in front of the mom, his own mom, and Olivia says to his mom, you support this, and the mom just basically says how he just really cares about her and he's just trying to take care of her, which I think is awful that his mom is even enabling his weird behavior. And I guess I was too optimistic in the last clip because I was saying how Olivia is completely unlikable, but for whatever reason I was still rooting for her, and I am still rooting for her, but she's also just like an asshole because immediately when she meets Will's girlfriend, in her head she's thinking how she hates her. Why are you not mad at Will for not breaking up with his girlfriend and you're mad at the girlfriend for literally existing? If anything, the girlfriend should be more upset because Olivia is like staying at Will's mom's house without her knowing. Like, It's just crazy, and I just feel like I cannot defend her anymore. I'm done with this, and honestly this video has been kind of a fail in terms of the quality of books that I've read, which I'm a little disappointed with. Sometimes that's just how it happens. I was able to read a lot today though, which I'm happy with. I read a few hours. I feel like I wasn't on my phone too much, so I feel like overall I was successfully not doom scrolling for this video, but the books were just not really it, unfortunately. But anyways, if you guys have read any of these books or the novella that I read, please let me know your thoughts on them in a comment down below. And also please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more book content and vlogs. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in a new video next week. Bye.